this is your boy Lance here. Just figured I'd come talk to y'all a little bit tonight. Hang on, I don't think you can see me very well. Hey, I know you can see me there. Hey, there we are. Okay, so just want to come talk to y'all a little bit tonight. Now, I did, as I was talking to some buddies of mine, I did actually had a story to tell y'all. We're gonna tell you the rat story about a couple years ago about the rat story. This is a favorite of some of my friends that I think y'all all get really entertainment out of. So, a couple years ago, me and my dad were in the yard, and of course I own a snake. So, with that being said, I needed some rats to feed my snake with, right? So, me and Dad are in the yard, and I was just joking around with Dad. I'm like, look, Dad, why don't I start breeding rats? Dad's like, there ain't no way you could do it. I said, well, okay. So I called buddy mine up. Buddy mine said he wanted to ride to the pet store. I said, okay. So we ride halfway across town to the beach to the pet store. Well, needless to say, we came home with about $20 spent and about 10 rats. Well, maybe it was a few less than that. It started off very small. So 2 males, 2 females, 2 small, 2 bigger ones, right? So we had the rats. Well, so no big deal. Dad thought I was an idiot, of course, but it is what it is. So I get back to the house, and I had to find something to put them in. So I found a little aquariums to put them in. Well, the aquariums I put them in, you know, they were doing good for a while, and we were wondering when they're ever going to have babies. I was like, man, these rats got to migrate. You know, they got to start popping some babies out. Well, so I was kind of getting depressed a little bit. I'm like, when are they going to pop these babies out? You know, something's got to go on here. Eventually, I'd say about a month and a half maybe later, they started having babies. Well, when they started, they didn't quit. So, first one had like 5 babies, and then the other set had some babies, and then they just kept having babies, right? So, I didn't really know what to do with them, and I was just, if I tell you what I fed them, you would laugh your butt off. But hey, I was feeding them just whatever I found, and whatever I had, crumbs I had left in the fridge, whatever I had that was left over, right? So, I was just feeding them daily, and I would even go get some food for them. I even went and got some specialized rat food for them, right? Because I was into this rat breeding business for a little while, right? So I finally get them, and I had the rats for a little while, and they started having babies. I'm like, man. So that was a little bit of a crazy story right there. But so when they started having babies, it was all good to go, right? Well, then they started having too many babies, and I couldn't control them all. So then I had to start feeding some to my snake. Well, then eventually I had them in the shed. Well, the thing is with the shed is it got hot. Well, when it got really hot, I had to have somewhere else for them to go. So I ended up, one of them eventually, what had happened was one of them ate the other one, and one of them died. So, I mean, that was a real tragic story. So I had to get rid of him, and it stunk real bad. So that was a kind of a tragic story. So one of them had died, and the rest were still having the babies, right? Well, so I started feeding them off and what I could do. Well, and then one day I get a brilliant idea to take them. Okay, no, here's what happened. Okay, so I remember now. This has been a little while. Sorry, forgive me for my forgetfulness. But so what had happened was they got too many of them. So of course my dad got irritated about it. So he said, Lance, find something to do with them. So what do I do? What does genius Lance over here do? Lance takes them back to the same pet store and sells them suckers. And ended up buying me a Colombian fishing shirt. I know that sounds kind of retarded, but hey, I made $25. I mean, that's about all I made. It was a sad story, but hey, sometimes you gotta listen to your father figures. If I would have just listened to them in the first place, I wouldn't have been in that sad story. But no, but funny thing is though, so I had a few left. I kept 2 of them, right? One had died, and I had one I took in I had left, right? Well, I put them in the house. Well, I had went out of town that weekend, and I had left him in the cage. Well, needless to say, when I had left, I was going to leave, and I left the cage open, and he escaped. He got loose in my room. And I was like, there's no way. I'm about to leave on vacation, and I've got a loose rat in my room. There's no way. This is not going to turn out well. So I go to my room, and I'm trying to like catch this sucker, right? So he gets under my bed, and I'm like, I'm just doomed, you know. Luckily that day I was leaving, because I wasn't going to sleep with a loose rat in my room. Heck no, that ain't about to happen. So I'm in I tried what I thought was a genius idea. Is he got into my closet. So what I did was, when he was in my closet, I thought, now here we go again, thinking again, you know what that does for me? Sometimes it can cause me some issues using my head sometimes, but I thought, by an assumption, that I could barricade him in the closet. Well, no one ever told me that rats can escape in small areas, so I went out of town, no big deal, and the rat got out. The rat ripped my closet apart, and it got out of my closet, and it escaped in my room. So I went out of town. I come back, and of course my father called and said that the rat had got loose again. I'm like, there's no way. Feed that sucker to my snake. And so the story basically ends right there. He fed it to my snake, and that was the end of it. But I did learn a lesson. Sometimes listen to those that are older than you. They have a little more knowledge sometimes. But yeah, that's my rat story. But I tell you what, I'm going to tell y'all another story in a little while, but I'm going to let y'all go for the time being. Peace out now.